And I think if it was talked about more, it's the idea that I think sometimes we're playing or we're asked to play, or because they're part, there's nothing wrong with playing them to learn the craft, but you feel disingenuous with things you can't relate to anymore. I see it in students that I teach, right? That they're listening to music of today. You're telling them, hey, play Mozart. And there's nothing wrong with Mozart, and they'll come around to it. But you have to find a way to teach some of the fundamentals through the things they're actually genuinely connecting with in the now.
Sorry, I had a call.
Good.
I had to.
We're good. We're good.
No, absolutely. Well, did you remember on Skane's Domain that Winton had? There was a question like from a saxophone player. I think, he was told he had to learn classical and this and that, and he's like, "How do you, decide what to practice?" And Winton said, like, I mean, of course, I'm not going to say it as loquacious as he did, but. I mean, he said, just practice what you connect with. If you don't feel like Mozart, if you're not feeling the connection to it, then just put it away.
Yeah.
And maybe it'll find its place in your life down the road. Like, just like, I was saying, bebop was always my parents' music, and I always just kind of like avoided it because I just like, that's like old people music, right? But then I found out how hip it was, and I found out how all these different genres were inspired by it. And also I love Baroque music. So I heard the similarities between bebop and Baroque and Bach and all that stuff. And I was just so into it. I found my own reason for coming into the bebop. So, and if it's not for you, it's not for you, right? But these old dated songs, they can be made new again. Even just like singing the tune, like just the melody, just the lyric, all the things you are. I mean, that's one of the most brilliant songs ever written, in my opinion. And I think it's just, if younger students, if they don't like it because they don't connect with it, give them 20 years. It may change. They might say, oh shit, now I know what that lyric means. It's just talking about life experience,
Right, they're coming back to it because they've lived something that allows them to connect to. Maybe they haven't reached that point yet.
Yeah, and maybe they won't. I mean, I try not to force stuff down my students. I don't try to like tell them to listen and tell them to learn it if they don't like it.
But if they are coming for a certain purpose, you're going to be like, well, okay, you're saying you want this, you got to do this at least.
Yeah, but like just avoiding because you're like, oh, I don't like that, but still expose yourself to it so you know what it is you don't like about it.
Right.
That's the difference. Yeah, like be able to like have factual evidence of why you don't like it.
right, you've never even heard it and you're saying, yeah, exactly.
Right. Well, like, like maybe like like Emmett and I go to like a lot of programs and music camps and stuff, and it's all different experience each time we go. But I remember one time he was in front of like a bunch of students that were getting ready to go to colleges, and they were going like looking at Juilliard, all the top music schools, and he said, how many of you, like, just put your hands in the air, how many of you know 10 standards? And most everyone, 80% raised their hand. I was like, oh, how many of you know 50 standards? And less than half the group raised their hand. How many of you know 100 standards? Nobody had their hand up. And that to me was like jaw-dropping, because even like if you want to be a jazz musician, standards are the currency of this music, at least when you're developing your sound. Like we were talking about lineage, like John Coltrane, do you think he's one of the greatest innovators in this music, but like he couldn't have done what he did if he didn't know standards, And I don't know, I'm a firm believer in if you want to be a jazz musician, you got to start learning more tunes.
Yeah, I think right. But that's why I was touching on earlier, because I think we're just, in a certain educational environment, you're often just learn the tune. Why? Just learn it. That's not enough. That's not enough of an answer for the individual on the receiving end of the education to feel connected to it, which is why kind of what you were saying, where just expose yourself to these recordings, kind of try and bring your life experiences to these songs. So it's not just something you were assigned or is on a list of top 50 standards that you find on the internet. It's something that's real to you. And then you can, you know, with each standard, you can attach some significance to it.
Yeah, but like making a kid practice piano if it doesn't want to practice piano is not going to help.
No.
And it's not, and then it's not going to practice in the right way, you know, because how you practice is everything. And the songs that I like on piano, the songs that I can still play are the songs that I literally just sat down and learned on my own with no one telling me. The muscle memory is there. The Clair de Lune and the Arabesque and the Maple Leaf Rags, like all those songs that I just literally heard them and loved them and wanted to learn them. It wasn't anyone sitting down and whacking me with the ruler. You want to learn this. And it's now it's in there forever.
Right, and you came to.
But even if you don't like something, know why you don't like it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think people are afraid to admit, like in a jazz environment, it seems kind of homogenous. Like, yeah, we're all on the same page. We all like the same. I don't think that's quite true. And I think the people that are really excelling are the ones being honest with themselves about saying, this is the part of it I like, and I'm going to rock that really well. And yeah, I'm cool if I'm not, you know, Robert Glasper or another cat. Like, you just being yourself in that genre. And even Robert Glasper himself is another example. He's like, I'm not doing the swing thing. I'm doing my own thing, and that's just who I am. I've even played the other kind of stuff. So that's what I'm saying. Let artists like yourself that are just willing to be like, I know what I'm doing. I know why I'm doing it. I think that clarity, if other students can get sort of that clarity, they'll be more honest with what they're doing and why they're doing it.
Yeah, clarity. That's the good word.
No, easier said than done, though. I mean,
I know.
Takes a lot of
like
time.
I constantly listen to singers that I like, some of the great, like, just because they're one of the great big top, you know, top 10 singers doesn't mean you have to like them, but you have to listen to them. You know, like I know I'm going to like turn a lot of heads when I say this, because I don't like to say it much, because I don't want people to get the wrong idea that I'm just being, oh, this person sucks, you know, because that's not what I'm saying. I can tell you what I do like about Betty Carter, but I don't like these things about Betty Carter, you know, because that's just not how I want to listen to jazz in that regard when it comes to sound. But when it comes to like her scatting, man, I'm checking that shit out every day. And her arrangements, I mean, the way she led a band, no one did it better. You know what I mean? And even Anita O'Day was my favorite. I didn't like everything she did. Sorry. What? Oh, right. I didn't like everything she did either. And sometimes she doesn't sing the melody enough for me. But here's what I can tell you that I do love about her, and this is why she's one of my favorites. You know, and if a student can answer these questions instead of just saying, "Oh, I don't like that person," or "I like this person," you know, if you can go deeper into why you don't like singing or playing standards. But I mean, I can guarantee Robert Glasper knows 100 standards.
Yeah, and to what you're saying, it's more about, I mean, that's you're your own artist. So the cool thing is that you can, it's having the ability to say, to discern, yes, I don't like that artist, and that's cool. But you still, I think most of us, especially musicians, because we can pretty much find something we love about any artist, even if we don't like them.
Yeah.
If they're of certain musical caliber, we're kind of like, yeah, but they're still doing that right. So I think what you're saying is just that you still can pick the things you love, even from someone you're not going to maybe listen to on, you know, when you want to, and then bring that together maybe into your wheelhouse. So you're taking the things you want from it, but not, you know.
And then like years later, it could completely change. Like 2 years ago, I wasn't really checking out Betty, and now I'm like, I can't stop listening to her live at Village Vanguard. You know, I never thought that would be the thing. So you always keep yourself open. Like, and that's the other thing, like we listen on our earbuds walking down the street. But I think, and I mean, you see a lot of more, you know, young people doing this, but have listening parties, man. Listen to records together. Do like a rotation where someone picks a different tune, and like that's what Moenzo, we all hang out at Russell and we sit at the record player or the computer, and people, you know, I'm hearing stuff I've never heard before, and we need to encourage that more.